Alright, so normally I do these VODs live on twitch.tv. However, due to sometimes I just have internet problems, so there will be offline VODs that come online on YouTube on the YouTube channel, and this is gonna be one of them. So right away, I just wanted to say thank you for submitting this. By the way, we're gonna be reviewing Snes's VOD, should be in the title. I just want to say thank you to Snes for sending me this VOD. It is not easy, actually, to open yourself up to criticism. However, I think it's really important that you do so in order to improve. So, while yes, it's gonna look like I tear apart this person's gameplay, you really, how to say this? You should be actually praising Snes for submitting this VOD and for going through the process of improvement rather than try to bully him for his current skill level. Praise him for trying to pursue the right path of improvement. Alright? Don't worry though, we're also going to be bullying this other player as well. Right? But anyway, so no mean things about Snes. The only one who's going to be allowed to say mean things about him is me. Alright, so we're going to start this game off. So, right away, you're gonna see here, let's go ahead and immediately talk about something. And this is something that I think a lot of players could think about, is when you play PS2, an extremely common stage, you need to think about, have a game plan for literally the first second of the match. So, yes, he got hit by Isabelle's dash attack. Okay, look, let's be real. If you've never played against an Isabelle before, you had no way of expecting a dash attack. And that's not the issue here. The issue wasn't that he got hit by that dash attack. In fact, his first movement of dropping down through the platform is very normal, right? And that's okay. This dropping through the platform as soon as you spawn is an okay strategy, very common, and that's not the issue. Good on the Isabelle player for knowing this and having a game plan ready. So let's praise this Isabelle player for having a game plan literally as soon as the game starts and get a hit off of it. However, a very subtle detail here is actually what went through the mind of this Ness player is something to keep in mind. Right? He actually did not have, in my opinion, a great game plan. As you can see, the first thing he did, it might be a little bit hard to see in this recording, right? However, he dropped through the platform, he ran forward and immediately buffered a forward air. Which if you could follow my mouse cursor, that forward air would have only covered this area, and it's very unlikely for players to jump. The only way this forward air would have hit right here is if this player had jumped off the platform and basically jumped into it, which honestly, in my opinion, I believe this is highly unlikely. However, if Snes, if you've done this exact same forward air, or if you have reason to believe that Isabelle was going to jump into here, like if you've played them before, and you know, oh, well, they like jumping from forward off the platform and being in that airspace, then sure, it was a fine fare. However, I think what's more likely is you just dropped to the platform and then just did a fair without considering what your opponent was going to do. More likely than not, your opponent will drop down from the platform themselves and either dash forward or dash back or something like that. So just a thing to keep in mind. Again, if you have previous matchup experience or previous experience against a specific player and you know what habit they're going to do, then pick a better option. However, I don't think this option was very likely to have hit an Isabelle, especially if they're unfamiliar with the matchup. Anyways, so Isabelle's gonna get the hit. Unfortunately, they did a forward air, didn't keep it going, so now you're stuck on the platform. Isabelle's approaching you under, so now you're kind of in a bad spot. So we're gonna see how you play this out. It looks like you try to run off this platform here, and you kind of got stuck, and that happens, right? It happens. And Isabelle wisely holding shield, expecting that you were going to run off this platform and do a back air or something like that. So this is good movement from their part. Let's recognize that. This was good movement and good anticipation. And actually, this is very common. If you're ever chasing an opponent under the PS2 platform, it is extremely common for them to run off the platform and back air you. Now, keep in mind that a lot of times, the running off the platform and then back airing, that's reactable. However, if you're just standing on this platform right here, just standing, if your goal is to get off this platform, you don't have to run off the platform and then do an aerial. Consider that you could just fall straight through and then do your safe aerial. Because just falling straight through is unreactable, and then doing this aerial is unreactable. However, if you decide, because it looked like, okay, look, this Isabelle hit you, and now you're stuck on the left side. You're kind of stuck in the middle of the platform, and they had actually reacted to you running to get off the platform. That's actually really common, so just keep that in mind, right? In situations like this, try to keep your movement a little more ambiguous. Now, obviously, if you actually had ran off and done this quickly, they actually wouldn't have made it in time. However, anyways, so now you're on this platform, Isabelle's under you, you're both holding shield, and Isabelle actually had a pretty nice read right here, right? The Isabelle player had a pretty nice read that you're actually going to jump backwards, right? This is a guess, right? However, it is pretty common, because let's be real, are you going to jump towards a corner? That's pretty unlikely. Likewise, if you had rolled, you're kind of stuck in shield, and a lot of players are going to pick an option, right? The odds of you dropping the shield and jumping this way, very unlikely. However, a lot of players are going to anticipate this jump back. So just keep in mind you have that other mix-up. If you're stuck on the shield and she's right here, you can keep holding shield. Just keep holding shield and see what they do. A lot of times players in this situation, they commit too early, right? And you basically reacted to them shielding, and then you picked an option. And this Isabelle player had that timing hardwired. They didn't react to you dropping shield, right? They guessed. Now, a lot of players will pre-commit and try to hit you with an up air. So just sit here. Just sit here, wait, watch them, right? And once you get an idea, like, oh, they're waiting for me, let me do something quirky, right? But this jump backwards is extremely common, so just a thing to keep in mind. You could just drop shield, re-shield. That's another thing too. You could drop shield, move a little bit, shield again, try to bait out this up air, right? Or you could shield a little bit, re-shield, drop shield again, then like drop to the platform and back air them. Because they can't, if they're holding shield like this, they also can't hold shield forever, right? So just keep that in mind. Just hold shield. Also, some players like to jump onto the platform and bully you there, and you can react to that and pick an option as well, right? But basically, you committed too soon. You didn't have to jump backwards like this, and this is pretty common to the point where your Isabelle is already predicting this. So just keep that in mind. If you're in the middle of a match, this could be a little hard to keep in mind and become aware of. You might not even realize that this is something she had read. But this is when you watch VODs, you can actually get a sense of what players reacted to and what players are guessing, and try to and keep that in mind for your play in the future. But anyways, they actually had a pretty good guess that not only you jump back, that you were gonna fast fall. Now they did try to contest you in the air, and I believe their execution was slightly off. However, they kind of had the right idea, right? This idea that you're gonna jump, you're gonna land. As you can see, they're so close to hitting you. They're so close to hitting you with this up air. They whiff though, right? And that's okay. Whiffs happen. Even the best players, their timing will be off, and especially if their timing relied on the read, it increases the odds that this was unlikely to hit. Now, if the Isabelle players watching this, consider an option that either comes out quicker or had higher odds of hitting this, because I think committing to this massive full hop with the up air, I don't even think you would have comboed the Ness. I'm not sure how safe on a hit this is at low percent, but that is the Isabelle player's responsibility, not the Ness's. Now the Ness has to be responsible for her is the fact that, oh look, Isabelle whiffed. You have time to react to this Isabelle whiffing, and right now you shouldn't even, your character is just stuck in lag, right? Look at the Isabelle. So let's see what option you pick, and you picked to back off and PK fire. Now I think the appropriate reaction is if you have been watching the Isabelle, you're like, oh wow, they put themselves in the air above me. This is a free forward air, up air, something. Because how is Isabelle going to land? You gotta keep in mind, their back air is not quick and not terribly safe on shield. If they do the nair, in order for the nair to be safe on shield, they have to do it right before they land. That means there's all this time where the Isabelle is landing with no hurt box. With no hitbox to contest you, and definitely not a hitbox that is good enough to contest your forward air, right? So take advantage of the fact that you have easier juggling tools than she has landing tools, and try to keep them in the air. I think this dash back projectile usage is actually quite common, and So it's not explicitly terrible. However, I don't think it's the optimal option. And here, it will look like you do end up getting hit by this back air. And it's not terrible. You get hit by this, whatever. She doesn't get much from it. But also keep in mind, like, I understand your PK Fire has a very high reward for relatively low risk. However, the odds of this PK Fire hitting, you have to time this PK Fire pretty precisely, right, in order to have it hit her right before she lands or right as she lands. Otherwise, she could just shield it. And also, you don't even know if she's pressing no buttons, because if this Isabelle player was pressing no buttons, which very rarely if a player is landing at disadvantage, very often they'll try to fight their way down, especially at mid-level. This is really common, right? Even this Isabelle player probably should rationalize the odds of this back air having worked. If you were an aggressive player, and you just run up and aerialed her, this back air will not have worked, and it should not have worked. However, if they were pressing nothing, right, or just air dodging, right, or literally just waiting, they could pocket your PK Fire. So obviously the match just started, so you don't know what their habit's going to be. So I think in the future, you should just consider when an opponent is in a bad spot above you, just run at them, right? Just do some quick decision making. Easier said than done, I know, and it comes with time, and it comes with consciously telling yourself, I am going to keep the advantage state going. I'm going to keep the pressure up. Isabelle can't land. I won't let her land, right? Anyways, right? So, backer's going to hit you. Granted, the PK Fire also hit. Just as a quick side note, one thing you need to do when you're reviewing your play is to separate outcome from, how do I say, separate whether or not it was a good play from whether or not you got a favorable outcome. Just because you got the PK Fire hit right here, you need to analyze what were the odds of his PK Fire hitting and what did you give up by committing to this PK Fire, right? So yes, even though you got hit, even though you got the hit right here, you shouldn't, I don't think this necessarily means think, oh yes, I should do this more often. I should try to catch more landings in PK Fire. No, right? Now this obviously is a bit counterintuitive because I know we were trying to watch VODs, people tell you, watch out for what you did right or wrong. What did you get? How did you get hits? Why did you get hit? But you need to think more about, like, take your time and think about, was this a good play? What options does this play cover? What are the odds? What is the counterplay my opponent has to these type of plays? And this comes with time, right? So yes, even though you got this hit, I don't think it was the right idea. You didn't get your follow-up here. Now, I think what had happened here is you got hit by back air and you weren't expecting that at all. You should have been looking at Isabelle to see that back air hitting. Granted, I know back air is hard to see. The projectile stuff is hard to see. And if you haven't played against Isabelle enough and you're not familiar with the matchup, getting a sense for how far the back air travels it comes with time in the matchup, because ideally you should be either focusing on the spacing between you and your opponent or looking at your opponent itself, which means you won't be looking at this projectile to see if it hit you. And the sound effect it makes isn't terribly obvious. So looks like it interrupted you, and as a result you whiffed, and granted you got a full hop, but that could probably be because it hit you, right? Ideally you probably should have been short hopping this if you thought it was going to hit, but not terrible. Now you land, you react, okay, and you decide to run forward. Oh, you dash attacked right here. You thought they'd still be in the fire. Alright, this is also a thing that comes with time, right? I know the match just started, so maybe you're not sure, but you should be able to see from where a PK Fire hits someone, right? You should be able to react to where the opponent is in the PK Fire and which direction they're traveling and predict when they get out of it, right? So Isabelle was able to get out, and looks like you committed to the dash attack, like, right here, and maybe you didn't have enough time to react, right? I think you did, but this up to you as a Ness main to know, to be able to better predict when they'll get out of PK Fire or when they'll be stuck in it, right? Because some opponents don't know how to get out of it. You could definitely exploit that. Likewise, other opponents know they just hold away. So just a thing to keep in mind. That's something that's almost, you just have to grind out the game a bit more, and you'll get a better sense of this. So anyways, dash attack, it whiffs, Isabelle lands. Okay, so now you're not in a terrible spot, right? Isabelle is almost completely in the corner, right? So what are you going to do, and what is Isabelle going to do? Let's see. Ooh. So Isabelle actually ran up and tried to contest you. Now, despite you getting hit by this, I'm going to try to see if you try to input an aerial, because I think you actually did try to input an aerial yourself. Yeah, you jumped in the air too. So I actually think Isabelle doing this was not a good idea, because the odds of her Nair just stuffing you out, right, I think is kind of low, right? They had actually pre-committed to this dash Nair. Like they went in like, I want to dash, I want to Nair, and maybe I'll trade with Ness in the air. Though you have shown that you're willing to just get into the air and throw out aerials. So I think you had the right idea, right? I think they had the wrong idea, but they got a favorable outcome. But that's okay. Sometimes it happens, right? Very rarely you'll be put in situations in Smash where you have 100-0 interactions, which you always win. This is a possible outcome. Sometimes both of you commit to the same idea, and though you should be coming out of this exchange winning more often than they do, they won this time, and it happens. So it's whatever. Don't get too down about it. So now we got one there, and they don't really have a true follow-up here, right? So it's okay. Now you're shielding this. You're able to land properly. You hold shield. And you nair out a shield. Now, what did this Isabelle player actually commit to? Now, I'm sure you're already aware about ultimateframedata.com. But on Ultimate Frame Data, let's go pull it up right now, actually. New tab. So on Ultimate Frame Data, you're going to actually be able to look up, especially when you're watching a VOD and you're not sure, right? Look, there's a lot of aerials in this game. There's a lot of moves in this game, period, right? So you're not going to have memorized until you actually fight an opponent and they show you that they'll use a move a lot. You're not going to memorize these numbers. But look, wow, Isabelle Nair, -3. Kind of nice, actually. But this is the -2, they've done perfectly. It's actually kind of nice. However, more likely than not, they're going to be hitting you at the top of your shield, and it's a little hard to count frames in Windows Movie Maker, but if they're doing this lingering Nair, right, it's going to hit the top of your shield, which realistically will probably turn this into a -6, -7 type of move. Now, they actually did land this pretty close to the ground, so maybe they were reading your roll away, right? So I think you picked an okay option here. There's not, especially because this is the first shield interaction between you two, right? This isn't, it's hard to say if either player really did something that's right or wrong, because this is literally the first shield interaction of this kind. Now, in the long run, this Isabelle player should be an advantage more times than not, especially if they're -2 or -3, -4, whatever, and you can't grab them right now. So the Isabelle player right now should have more options available to them to try to beat out your next option. But so they picked, I think they were trying to run after your roll. So now you picked Nair, and this is fine. But in order to make this really fine, like really okay, you need to keep in mind, right now I Naired, right? You should have watched closely and see what option Isabelle went for. And you think about what did they go for? You think about what you did, and then the next time they do it, pick this Nair again to test your opponent. Is your opponent learning from the shield interactions, or are they just going full bot mode? Because some players do have a really predictable habit. For instance, maybe they always hit your shield and they always dash back, or maybe they always hit your shield and then jab, right? If your opponent picks the same option every time after hitting their shield and they're giving up this potential advantage, well then you have no reason. You have no reason to pick any other option, but just keep it in mind, right? Okay, Nair again. Does it work? Alright then, keep nairing. Your opponent's not thinking. Take advantage of that. However, be prepared for the day you do fight an opponent who keeps track of your options and start thinking about these specific interactions more, right? Especially if you find yourself being put in a lot of Nair on shield situations by Isabelle, think about all the options you have, and think about mixing it up. This is just a side note, because I'm not trying to say you did anything wrong here, because you didn't. You got this specifically, right? Yeah, sure, Isabelle picked the wrong option, and this Nair isn't even bad. It's not a slow out of shield option. It's got a good range. You could drift away, so it's not terrible, right? Okay, that sounds like I'm always making euphemism. It's not bad. You picked a good option, right? Now, we're going to see if this situation pops up in the future, and if Isabelle adapts and you don't, then there's a problem, alright? If you keep picking the same option and Isabelle doesn't adapt, that's on her, alright? They're the ones who need to adapt to you, right? Anyways, going to, I'm gonna backtrack 1 second. So, after you got this hit with Nair, though, right? You back off because you weren't sure. Okay, this is fine. This is fine. Maybe you weren't sure if you're gonna get the hit. You committed to running away. Not terrible, right? So you're just gonna reset the situation. I'm gonna jump into the air again, do a fair. Okay. I'm not sure about these full hop fairs, right? I understand why you would want to full hop fair because you could do multiple aerials in a single full hop. However, Isabelle has shown you now, right, that they're going to be in this like short hop aerial space, right? Now, granted, there's a good chance this would have scooped her. This is more of a minor nitpick. I think you should be predicting this player's short hops. You should be predicting them, and maybe your short hop forwarder has a higher odds of connecting rather than the full hop one. Full hop is good against opponents who are either have better short hop jump heights. Like if their jump height puts them up here, then sure, full hop. Then do your full hop forward air away, right? Please tell me this is. Please tell me this is a full hop. This is actually a short hop, and I'm just been blind this whole time. Well, that one's on me, right? You can just let me know in the comments if this is actually a short hop Ness aerial. But I think this is a full hop, right? Yeah, there's... So anyways, forward air. They're going to forward air themselves. Like, this is something you should keep in mind. Wow, they're doing greedy aerials, right? They're doing greedy aerials to try to hit me out of the air. But that's okay, right? I think you should look at this and be like, I have no reason to change my game plan, right? Okay, so now you're gonna land out. I'm not so sure about landing like this. I'm not sure about this back air. However, they kept running away, so that's fine. You do shield right here. Maybe you're expecting them to like turn around and like dash attack you quickly, but they choose to run away. How quickly do you react and drop shield? Okay, nothing was terribly wrong here until this specific interaction. Okay, so you forward air, you back air, sure. You know, maybe there's a chance she ran forward, his back air would have hit. Okay, but so I think it's fine, right? Now you're gonna hold shield here because you're not so sure what she's gonna do. Maybe she's gonna land with the back air. Okay, maybe she's gonna land with the back air. So you hold shield preemptively. You don't want to get hit. But you actually dash away here, and I think this dash away is kind of the wrong idea. Because one of the things you need to keep in mind is your opponent's running towards the corner, right? And they're running away from you. Why would you want to create more space between yourself and this Isabelle unless that's an explicit part of your game plan saying, I am going to run the center stage. I'm going to run away from my opponent because my opponent has proven to me they don't know how to deal with it or that they get tilted or whatever, right? Unless you have a specific reason for running away from your opponent, I think this is a suboptimal game plan, right? Especially if you just saw your opponents in the air and they need to land, and especially if you have a great dash attack for covering landings. I think you should have dropped shield here, right, and kept moving forward. And in fact, they fishing rod. And as far as I know, fishing rod is actually a reactable move. So you just ran up and shielded. You should have been able to get this punish. Should have been able to punish this fishing rod for free. So let's look at fishing rod. Yeah, at frame 21. So fishing rod is reactable, but and there's a projectile that comes out. Maybe the actual literal point blank fishing rod can be hard to react to, right? However, right? If you see Isabelle in the air, you're probably running up and shielding anyways, right? So I think you should have ran up and shielded. You would have been able to punish this. But that's not terrible. Let's see how now. She's committed the fishing rod. Okay, you could probably just jump over, get on this PS2 platform, because yeah, I could snatch you on the way back, but you know, right now she is stuck. There is going to be a hitbox that comes out in the near future, but it only covers the ground. So right now you can move on top for free, but instead, you do this PK fire, and maybe you're just unfamiliar with the matchup. Maybe you thought she'd be stuck in way more lag from the fishing rod. However, this PK fire is out of range. And it gets pocketed. Okay, you know what? There's a first time for everything. Maybe you really thought this was going to hit, so you tested it out. It didn't work. Okay, it happens. But now you know in the future, next time you see fishing rod, oh, I can't just like run up and then try to peek and fire it. I actually have to commit. I understand the psychology behind trying out at least this PK fire. Now they pocketed it. So yeah, while this is a misplay, I'm not trying to say it was terrible that you did this. I'm trying to say like, oh, you're stupid. How could you go for this, right? So you go for it, right? You tried out the safest option that you had at this time to see if it could work. But now you know it can't, right? Just so the thing you have to take away from this, from either in the moment, this should immediately trigger a response to your brain like, ah, shit, that didn't work, okay? But now you know. So now you're gonna run forward. You're gonna forward air. Oh, this is a short hop forward air, and this was okay. Oh no, it's a full hop one. I'm just blind. Still, right? This Isabelle is consistently running into the air aggressively, and I think you just need to keep like forwarding to keep this person out until they learn, right? Granted, you're not hitting them because you're full hop forward airing, and they're just after you've left this airspace, right? They're coming into the zone, right? So while both of you are misspacing, I think it's on you to realize they're short hopping and keep your forward air lingering right here, and they'll run into it, right? Oh, okay, so yeah, this, I see why. So you do this forward air, full hop, that way you can always have an option to land with afterwards. I get it. Okay, so you're doing this back here. Again, I don't know if this is a hardwired habit you have, because it's twice you've done it now. Although, they were close to running into it. They nared and immediately like, oh shit, I'm gonna run in after Ness, right? That's kind of ironically what you should be doing, right? You should realize your opponent's in the air, immediately run after them. This Isabelle player is doing that to try to catch your landings, right? So this kind of shows to me this Isabelle player has a better understanding of advantage state. Now that being said, do they run up and shield? No, they actually run up and try to aerial. So maybe I take back what I said about better understanding of advantage state, because you're clearly going to land with the aerial. You've done that before. You're Ness. Nesses love landing with aerials. And I think them running up and doing another short hop nair has a very low odds of success. So anyways, you land, you shield. Sure, wise. Okay, so fine shield. They haven't like ever run up and grab your landing. And I actually was not expecting you to shield. Right, so anyways, they're going to nair. They're going to be above you, and now you had to take a guess. Now, I think this guess is fine, because you weren't sure if they were going to drift back. However, I think you could have done a nair that covered both options or something. Let me see. I guess you were expecting them to maybe drift back, but they kept drifting forward. I guess it happens, but I think... Okay, it's not. I guess it's not terrible if you thought I was going to hit, but I think you also need to be careful in timing your attack out of shield, because this lingers. Yeah, this lingers, so you don't want to jump into it right away, right? And it looks like if they had actually drifted back, you would have jumped right into that nair before it ended, is what it looks like. So yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but looks like this Isabelle nairs, and you... Oh, okay, looks like you jumped right as his animation was ending. Anyways, overall not too terrible. Again, Isabelle player reacting quickly to you being in the air and having to land, and immediately runs forward. Interesting magnet. I'm not sure. I understand magnet's cool, so you want to figure out how to use it, right? So I appreciate the creativity. So one of the things you need to think about when you review your VODs, right? Or when you think about the game more, right? Think about places where you can and cannot magnet, or where you can magnet and it's optimal, or where you lose opportunities by using magnet. Overall, I think it's very important to think about every tool in your character's kit and when to use them, and that just comes from thinking more. So here I think this was a suboptimal magnet, and that's probably obvious to you in hindsight. So we're not gonna focus too much on that. So I guess if also you need to know, okay, if the magnet hits, what are my follow-ups? Are they true? Are they mix-ups? Right? At what percent do they work? So yeah, I think it's fine that you're going for it because you need to think about learning, right? You need to focus a lot on learning, and just so many moves in your in this game. You gotta think about every single move in your character's kit, especially if you want to get to that top level of play. You're not gonna get by only using like 3 moves your character has, especially if you have a lot of good moves. And I've seen Magnet get used to great effect, although I don't think this is the exact situation to use it. That's fine. I think you see that too. They this time do a full hop there, again, very aggressively. So now you should be able to react. Backer? Okay, now your backer is going to connect. That's good. Alright. Put them on the platform. Okay. Miss Tech on the platform. Hey, okay, good, good. Ran up air, cover that option. Very nice. And then you do a good job of keeping it going. Although, okay, it's gonna send them this way. You run forward. Fade, mash this aerial. I think you should have definitely gotten this punish. You should have kept this going. And I think this is just probably just a lack of either experience in the matchup or unfamiliarity with when an opponent, as you use these moves more and at more percents, you'll get a more intuitive feel of when your opponent gets out of hit stun and how far they can drift. So I think you had miscalculated where your opponent's going to be right now. So you did an up air rather than forward air. I think if you had kept running, you should have definitely been able to catch this, because they just buffered an up air at a hit stun. So this should be one of the easiest things to punish, right? Because they threw out a hitbox above them. So you know they're stuck in lag, right? You know they can't do anything. All they can do is hold either forward or back to change their drift, but you should have been reacting to them holding their drift away and kept running yourself in forward air, right? So again, just comes with time. The more you juggle people, the more you put people in these situations, the more intuitive it will be of where your opponent will be by the time you come out here. I think you threw out this up air when you had seen them here, and you had up air them still, you had reacted to where they are and not predicted where they will be. Just a thing to think about. But that, again, that comes with time, right? It's just familiarity with control of your character, likewise knowing what your opponents like to do, and where they can be. And the first time you fight a new character and you're not familiar with their aerial speed or anything like that, that can make it harder too. So anyways, you whiff the up air. So let me see what you do right now. Okay. Now that being said, you know what? Whiff aerials happen a lot. However, are you aware of how much lag Isabelle is after this up air? Maybe you're not, right? However, she did this up air earlier in the match, and it looked pretty laggy. So this is the thing you need to keep in mind. So let's see how many... 42 total frames, yeah, that sounds about right. So that's pretty laggy. So think about it. You threw out your up air, right? And now both of y'all kinda able to act, right? But the difference is they're off stage, right? I think you could have definitely kept throwing out, at least try to get a ledge trap here or something, and either commit, you need to make a guess. Now, this Isabelle did something unpredictable, or unreactable really, but they did a jump into a forward air. However, this forward air that they did, you need to think about how small this projectile is. The odds of this having hit you are pretty low, whereas the odds if you had just run out there, did a forward air, I think the odds of you hitting them are significantly higher than the odds of you getting hit. So you shouldn't be scared, right? You shouldn't be scared of their hitbox unless it's like something you know will beat you. Like if there's a Lucina, right? You're like, oh, she might jump forward air me right here, right? And it might beat me. Okay, then sure, right? Get down, read that, or put yourself in a position where you just fast fall down, and if they jump and they forward air, they whiff, and you can keep them going, and now they have no jump, they're off stage, they die to your yo-yo, right? Or read that they're going to save their jump and go and yo-yo, right? So I think the play, right, is you should have positioned yourself here, right? Just fast falling straight down. Right? So either you keep holding forward and forward air, and close the distance and use Isabelle and hit her away, or fast fall, right? You could even hold shield, because if the thing about this projectile is it's really only scary if she does it when she's falling, right? And hits you, right? If it's rising, she's gonna be stuck in lag, right? Yeah, look, there's 39 total frames on that forward air, so you just shielded that forward air, and let's just assume this projectile, you're sitting in shield, they forward air you, and it actually hits your shield. Well, now you still have time to react and jump and forward air out of shield, right? Yeah, even close, this thing only has 10 frames of shield stun, so just thing to keep in mind is the main thing I want you to take away from this is look where that covered is right now. I think you pre-committed in your mind to dashing back right here, and I don't think you should have done this. However, now you do have an opportunity to sweep their landing, right? Again, though, you kind of back off and choose the PK Fire as a landing covering option. I don't think that's the option you should be picking, and you should have actually reacted to Isabelle being way up here. And this PK Fire just has very low odds of connecting. I think if you really are going to dash back and try to cover a landing, I'm not sure if this is the character you need to be doing that against, but there might be some characters where you have to respect some aerials, I get it, but I don't even think PK Fire is the right option. I think you could either try to dash attack a landing, forward air, just other things besides the PK Fire, and I think that's twice now. So now she because of this, right? I think this is poor positioning, and I think poor planning, right? But again, I think you're just unfamiliar with the situation, so you have to consciously think about the situation because you haven't been in it enough, or you haven't consciously thought about it. So you consciously thought about it, and you thought, and it didn't work. Happens, right? So now they're gonna forward air you. Let me see. Now you haven't been hit much this stock, honestly. So now we're gonna see how you do in disadvantage. Okay, Isabelle player. You see how they hit you and they immediately ran forward. Okay, this is good. This is good. They actually were very familiar when their projectile's hit stun was gonna end. So they were able to run up and shield right when you got out of the tumble. So this shows that this character actually, this player has a lot of familiarity with their character's hitboxes and how much hit stun and stuff. It's become intuitive to them. Likewise, they know that you're going to land with the aerial. Not too terrible, because let's be real, right? What is Isabelle's fastest out of shield option? Like Nair? Let's find out. Ultimate frame data, it's Nair frame 8. You're not too scared of that. Up air frame 9, you're not too scared of that. It's not going to hit you. Up smash frame 11. So, yeah. So they hold this shield. Now, you Naired, ironically, right? I think this is actually a favorable position for you, right? Maybe, so now I want to see, can you recognize that this is actually a good spot for you to be in? Sure, they intentionally shielded, but that does not necessarily mean they're putting themselves in the best possible spot. If they had parried this, that's a different story, but they didn't. They just shielded it. And I believe your Nair is like -4, -5. Oh my god, please don't tell me it's like -3, I'll cry. I will actually cry if it's that good. I don't know, I think Ness is like 8 frames of landing on this Nair, so we're gonna find out. Honestly, it doesn't matter too much. Okay, -4, -5, so it's still pretty safe, right? So you did and I think you did the hard hit too. Yeah, you definitely did a hard hit of Nair, so you're probably landing with -4. Even if you did 1 frame right before you land, it's -5. So what option are you going to pick now? Let's find out. You held shield yourself. While this is, I guess, safe, especially against Isabelle, because what is she gonna do? Grab out of shield? You know how few Isabelle players are gonna do that? So I actually think you holding shield is actually kind of fine. But you didn't have to. I think you should try to be a bit greedy here, right? Just once, see if she knows how to deal with maybe if you had done down tilt, right? You had done down tilt right there, or grabbed yourself. Like try to be a bit greedy, just to test your opponent. Because hey, for all you know, they buffer Nair out of shield. I guess that is their fastest out of shield option, as we had seen. It was frame 8, so maybe your grab wouldn't have come out. But your down tilt's pretty fast, right? Yeah, frame 3. That's kind of crazy. So, anyways, just things to think about. Now, that being said, I actually think the shield is fine. And actually, more than fine. I actually think it's a good option. I'm just trying to bring up the concept of when reviewing your VODs, think about the opponent's fastest out of shield option, especially if you land like this. and how much can you push this, or how greedy can you get, how aggressive you can get, or what is your reward if they pick Nair out of shield, which they did, because it was on paper their fastest out of shield option, and a lot of players will pick their fastest out of shield option even if it's not necessarily an optimal one, or the safest one. So now you should be ready for this, and you should be ready to fair. Nair, that's fine too. That's fine too, because they actually did not drift away. This is actually a misplay on their end. I think if they are going to Nair out a shield like this, they should drift back. But they stayed right in your range, and maybe they can't even drift back far enough. So you're in there, it's fine. This is good reaction, right? You reacted quickly, that they had done a rising arrow and your shield was very unsafe. You nailed them. But again, you choose to PK Fire, and you have advantage state, and that thing is like, that's a lot of times now where you're PK firing a disadvantage, and I think this is explicitly the wrong play now. Now I could tell that this is a habit. Your opponent's now gonna know this is a habit, and now they're not scared. They're not scared of you keeping the issue going. They're not scared of you running up and forcing Isabelle to land with an unsafe option or something like that. They're not scared of you contesting forward there. They know, oh, they're gonna land with PK. They're gonna land with PK Fire, and if you keep this up, the Isabelle player will actually start pocketing to get your PK Fire. So yeah, just a thing to keep in mind. I really don't think that's the option you should have gone for here. There is a chance, though, that this would have connected. I know once before this match it connected. This is what I mean about separating outcome from whether or not it's a good play. Because though this exact scenario, or near exact scenario, happened earlier, and you did come out on top, she actually mistimed their bear, right? So I think they got the auto-cancel frame because it hadn't come out yet. So they're actually able to just... When is it auto-cancel? Does it not auto-cancel? Cringe. Alright. Whatever. But point is, they were able to shield in time, right? And it's really... I don't think this is the good idea to go for. Okay, so now you're into... You had done this earlier. Sorry for if the microphone popped really loud. But you had actually done this earlier in the set, too. Where you did a max space PK Fire... And then you did a jump forward air and a full hop forward air, which really would have only covered if they jumped forward out of the PK Fire. Which a lot of time, if you hit a long distance PK Fire, your opponent's just going to hold back on the stick and fall out over here. And if they do jump, sure, that's a habit you can read. What does your opponent do after they get a PK Fire? However, they're very rarely going to get hit by this. Like, you need to keep moving forward and then do this forward air. If you really read they're going to jump, I think the position that Isabelle's in right now is a very common one, right? I don't think it's terribly uncommon to get out of PK Fire and, like, want to jump away. I see some opponents do that. However, this is twice now where you just do a straight, this forward air, which is unlikely to hit. Keep running forward and then forward air, but do it because you're reading a jump after PK Fire. Because keep in mind, they could also just sit there and shield, right? Now, granted, if your opponent hasn't proven to you that they know how to deal with the Rising Ness aerial, sure, just throw it out. But throw it out more optimally. Okay, so you whiff. You get hit by a down air. Oh, you're going to be on the tech. Hey, good tech, good tech. Right? So they're not going to get this follow-up. And you get a free... What did you do here? Did you up smash? I don't know about this up smash. Okay, I went back a bit too far, so we're gonna see this whole thing again. Okay, so you're in down air. You actually tech. She whiffs up air. Oh, you try to smash attack right here. Yeah, I don't know about the smash attack. Maybe you tried to up tilt, you actually got a smash attack. I don't know. If this really was an intentional smash attack, I think you should reconsider. But it almost kills. Oh no, it doesn't even almost kill. Yeah. I think you need to be careful, especially when you have if you have a lead like this, and you're on this platform, I think the up smash have pretty low odds of connecting. But granted, look, throwing it out every once in a while is fine. However, I think it's a high committal option for relatively low reward. Okay, yeah, she's above you, and now she has to land. So you get advantage state from an up smash. But if that was your intention, yeah, I think you have a lot of quicker options that are less punishable that also grant you the same reward of giving you advantage state, right? Because unless his up smash was going to kill where other options would not have killed, that's the one thing. But she's not a kill percent, right? So the reward you're getting here is the same reward, more or less, than faster options that would have granted you the same thing, right? And are less committal. So anyways, whatever. Eva was misinput, it happens. We all have to learn how to deal with that. So now you're going to land. Okay. How are you let's see. This is a very clear, obvious to all players. This is advantage state. Let's see how you keep it going. Okay. That's fair. I mean, yeah, that's an up air, but... Okay, not terrible, but I think... Not terrible. I think I predicted their drift a bit wrong. I think you might have gotten this trade, actually. So I think going to up air was fine, but looks like this Isabelle player actually did start going straight down instead of a bit to the left. So you know what? The mix-up happens. However, what I think you should try is they still have their jump, right? And they're just tumbling down right now. You should recognize that at any moment, they can mix you up. They could, right now, right? Right now, your opponent still has access to all their disadvantage options. So this is actually good on the Isabelle player that they didn't buffer a panic option. So this is good from the Isabelle player. They play disadvantage pretty well right here, right? So what thing you could learn from Isabelle is that just tumbling down, right? Especially if really committal aerials, this is good because at any moment she can still jump, she can still air dodge. The only thing she can't do is fast fall. Like super ideally, IMO. If you're all the way up in the blast zone, you can basically throw out an aerial for free to get out of tumble, right? They didn't choose to do that, and that's fine. Maybe they thought you were going to double jump up here and catch them if they had committed to an aerial, right? So they're just tumbling because they're watching you. They're going to just tumble and watch you. Now, that being said, they actually picked, I think, one of the worst options they could pick right here, right? That's why I'm taking so long with this, because I'm trying to find the words to explain that the Isabelle almost played this very well. In fact, I think they played this pretty well up until they committed to this down air. Because I don't think if you're ever playing against Ness, or if you're playing as Ness, and you see your opponent is very happy with trying to trade with Ness, and they keep trying to, you can keep punishing them for it. So I think if you had to read that your opponent just keeps trying to trade against you in disadvantage, and throwing out this up air was fine. However, ideally, even if that's the read you have, I think you could just jump, fast fall, and look at your opponent. Especially when they have all their options disadvantage, and especially if you're playing against a floaty character who cannot just fast fall through you and punish you. Like Isabelle is not a fast faller, which means, and right now she's not even able to fast fall, right? If you're playing against it, like let's say you're playing against Wolf, right? Very fast faller, frame to air dodge, and they're up here, they up air, so now they're able to fast fall through you anytime. Maybe jumping up to bait that out isn't the smartest idea, because they're just gonna fast fall, air dodge, do a neutral air dodge straight through you, and now you've jumped up in the air like a dummy, and they're able to hit you, right? But not Isabelle. She can't do that, right? And you recognize what characters have good or worse options for air dodging through you. Because Isabelle does not have greatest options, she doesn't have the greatest fall speed. You can just jump up and fast fall yourself to bait out an option. Bait out an air dodge that you can react to and punish. Bait out a jump, right? So now they're jumping and they're landing. Now you reset the situation, but they have no jump. And you're on the ground able to do anything and react, right? So you could chase them again, and then you could try to bait them again. This time they have to commit to something, right? Well, they don't have to, but they will. They'll commit to something. So I think immediately jumping up and doing this, while it's not the worst option in the world, I think you had more optimal play right here. Likewise, Isabelle definitely had way more optimal plays right here. They didn't have to do this down air. So, yeah, I think that's the worst option they could have done. But it quote-unquote worked out. It was the wrong idea. Likewise, I really think you should just jump up here and bait something out and play this better. Okay, they hit, but whatever, it happens. So you land, and that's the thing you gotta keep in mind. Things like this, they're obvious in hindsight, but in the moment, There's always going to be a situation you've never been in. There's always going to be something you have to learn. Ideally, you want to minimize the amount of things in a match that are novel to you so you can play better and focus on the things that are novel in a match. And that comes with time. But anyways, she nares your shield again, rising. You bait it out. Okay. And you recognize, oh, she hit my shield. I can get any punish I want. I don't have to be scared of the multi-hit anymore. Do an up air, good. Okay, you forward air again right here. Oh no, this time you forward air instead of up air, so that's good. That's good. You're a little off with the spacing, and I think you should have just done a short hop here, because, yeah, by you doing the full hop, you gotta think about what's your contingency plan. So maybe your idea was right. Like, okay, I am going to predict that the Isabelle player is going to be right here-ish. This is your prediction. Keep in mind, they actually up-aired out of tumble again. This is the same thing they did the first talk. I mean, well, it's still the first talk. This is the same thing they did the first time in this situation, right? Did you notice? Did you learn? Right? They picked the same option twice now. And they keep holding and drifting away. So you didn't predict this movement since it's the exact same movement twice in a row. So now, I think you were slightly off with your prediction once more, right? It happens. But I think by you trying to do this full hop, okay, look, yeah, it would have killed. It would have killed if you got on this hit, so I get why you went for it. Okay, you need to react to the whiff. You're fast falling. Yeah, okay, good. Last time they had also jumped from the ledge and tried to do something, and now this time you're actually forward airing to cover their aggressive approach. So this was a fine adaptation. I think you'll become more familiar with time to read an opponent not only attacking out of disadvantage, but the fact that it'll keep holding away and drifting away. It'll become more intuitive where your opponent will be in a few frames in the future, right? That's just a lack of experience type of thing, and it's okay. Okay, so you're gonna land, do this forward air, and you did react to them. This is good. You recognize your whiff. You look at your opponent. Okay, last time they jumped, will they jump here again? Ideally, I think you should have held a bit forward here and fallen more straight down, right? But it's okay. It works out. You hit him away. Oh, I guess I wouldn't have killed. Anyways. So now they have no jump. What do you do? Okay, you're gonna yo-yo. Okay, so I recognize that the balloons here are kind of quirky when it comes to your yo-yo. However, if you're going to commit, you need to recognize they have no jump. So likewise, I don't know why you shielded right here, actually. That's a little micro thing. You had no reason to shield here, right? Well, I guess maybe you thought, oh, maybe they could forward air. But more realistically, right, this maximum range forward air is probably not what they're going to do. I think what's more realistic is that they'll immediately fishing rod so they can delay and wait out your yo-yo, or they're going to keep going low, right? Anyways, so now you yo-yo, but you give up. You give up here. And like, if you're going to commit to the yo-yo, just commit to it. I think here, and likewise, if you weren't going to yo-yo here, commit to whatever other options not the yo-yo. Here, I think you were indecisive and you ended up in like the worst of both worlds type of situation. And then you fall back and you peaky fire. Now, I know the balloons had stopped this interaction, but that's not why I think this interaction was a bad idea. Like, what are the odds of this peaky fire hitting the opponent? They're literally about to snap the ledge while invincible, and you're basically letting them get off the ledge for free, right? Now, obviously the peaky fire got interrupted by a balloon, and you weren't expecting that balloon to get in the way. However, even if Isabelle had no balloons, right, throwing this peaky fire to try to either two-frame your opponent is just very, very unlikely to work. And I think that's a recurring theme I'm seeing now, is throwing out peaky fires in situations where you're not terribly sure how to hit your opponent, and you're throwing out the peaky fire because like, whatever. But it's not just whatever, because it's still kind of a commitment, because you're giving up. You think about, look at these peaky fires and think about what you're giving up, right? You think about where you could be moving, but you can't be moving because you threw out the peaky fire. Think about the advantage that you could have but no longer have because you committed to a PK Fire. So I think either you yo-yo again right here. Now, granted, I know these balloons mess up the recovery. So either, if you know the yo-yo can't work, well then don't yo-yo, right? However, you half yo-yoed, which didn't cover any option because they were nowhere near, and then you PK Fired, which again, covered no option. So okay, so they're at the ledge now. How do you deal with this? They're going to greedy jump, fair. Okay, catch you running forward. That happens. This worked because you were still stuck in lag from that PK Fire, so you had to run forward to you're like, oh no, and now I gotta put myself in the position to ledge trap, right? But you didn't have time to do that. So you need to think about, if you do this PK Fire, you can't get in a position to adequately ledge trap. Okay, so you got hit. They're gonna fly away. You're gonna land on the platform. Oh, you can barely see your character right here. So maybe you didn't know you landed on the platform. It's okay though, it's not terrible. She's still too far away to punish. But you just keep holding forward. You're gonna run off, you're gonna fair. Ooh, you get the cross up. But be very careful. Out of all, I think Ness's forward air is the one aerial, the one or two aerials from Ness you should not do landing. Right? If you're going to land with an aerial, don't forward air. Right? Where is it? Forward air, yeah, -10, -9. You don't have to do that. Because look, even up air is safer when you land. Even down air, think about that. Your down air is safer on shield landing than forward air. That's insane. Right? Because you're landing with the multi-hits. You're always going to get this -10 or worse. So, to land with Nair, if your intent is to hit someone right before you land, to throw a hitbox to cover yourself, don't pick fair. Pick Nair, right? Unless your intent is to hit the opponent, you have some insane punish from a landing forward air that you've labbed out that would get you this kill if they don't shield it, which is very unlikely because they've run up to you before and shielded in this exact situation. Like, this player has shown you they are going to run up, and to catch your landing, they're going to hold shield, right? So you should have predicted this. 100% predicted this shield, and chose an insane tomahawk. That's one option. You could have just landed in tomahawk grabbed, right? Or landed with Nair. Or actually, all those other aerials, right? So I get that you could cross up with the fair, but she's shown you like 4 times now that shield is just going to Nair out of shield. And that Nair out of shield is going to cover this. Okay, Nairs you away. Now they're running forward. They're shielding. Okay, now you're in the corner. Please don't tell me that she's going to run into the air again and try to swat you out. Ooh, not this time. They've adapted. Right? They're like, oh, I don't want to be in the air against Ness. You throw out forward air, which this forward air is actually fine. Because it's the rising forward air. She can't parry this. She even tries to parry it. It's not going to work. And not only that, right, they've shown you that they're capable of just running up and trying to anti-air you, which is not wise. So this forward air is fine. Alright, so you scoop him up, you hit him away, you run forward. Okay, I see you're slowly getting the hang of it. Because you ran forward yourself this time. You didn't PK Fire. You hold shield here in anticipation of a landing, I believe in anticipation of a landing fair. So that's fine. That's fine, right? Because you're like, okay, they might land with fair. I can't react to the fair. So you have to preemptively shield. It didn't come this time, then that's fine. Because they've landed with fair before, right? So now, both of you are sitting in shield right here. However, you are actually in an advantageous spot. So knowing this, right, let me see what you do, right? Because right now, both of you should have time to react to each other's shields, right? You kind of call out. This might have worked if your player if the opponent had committed to a full hop aerial, which happens a lot. Jumping at the ledge is an extremely common habit, right? So you go for it. So that's fine, right? Because you've never been in this situation this match yet. So this is a fresh situation, right? And you're learning against your opponent. But just think about in the future, right? If you're getting a feel for your opponent, if you're getting a feel for them, maybe don't immediately commit. Because at that point, it's not a read. It's a guess, right? You're guessing. You're literally, cause this is the first time you're in this situation, you're literally playing rock, paper, scissors. And by throwing this, you're pre-committing when you don't have to. You don't have to play a rock, paper, scissors right now, right? Because you do have an advantageous spot. But by committing, you're going all in on this guess, right? And that's what it is right now. Right now, it's a guess. You have no, it's not a read, because you have no reason to believe your opponent will jump right now. They haven't shown you that. They haven't shown your hand, their habits. So just keep that in mind, right? I know we as players like to go for the reads. I'm guilty of this myself. I like to go for reads. However, usually, right, I at least get a feel for my opponent before going for this read. Like, if I've never seen them jump, I don't guess it. I wait here, right? And I think you should do the same, right? Is learn to actually read the opponent and not just guess, right? Because you don't have to. Just keep... You could have just drop shielded right here and waited out to see what option they pick. And they drop shield, they reshield, and then they roll. Now, this roll isn't necessarily terrible on their end. However, right, if you had just waited here and drop shield, maybe you could even like drop shield, dash forward, dash back, because if Isabelle's holding shield, if you just dash forward, dash back, what are they gonna do? They're gonna nair out a shield and now they're stuck in lag. They might fair out a shield. That's kind of crazy. This Isabelle player is not gonna drop shield and run up and grab you, right? A lot of players aren't that. That's unlikely. Like an opponent will have to prove to you, look, man, I know you're getting a feel for me. So the opponent, Isabelle, has to read your read of... No, they actually have to... Okay. Again, it's a guess. They'd have to guess that you're going to sit here, not commit, with the intent. They'd have to guess that your intention is to get a feel for them, to just sit here, right? So they're like, all right, you're going to sit here, I'm going to run up and grab you. But you see why that is probably not going to happen, right? It's very unlikely. Most players in this situation, they're panicking. They're like, oh my god, I'm at kill percent. They're like, oh my god, I don't know my opponent. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm going to pre-commit an option. I need to get out of this corner. This roll is really common, right? Granted, you were actually had enough... I think you did have enough time to punish, right? So this is pretty character specific. Now you know. Ness can go for this, can guess here, and still land and cover roll. This roll. So this play you did, I think, was suboptimal. You could have actually just like backyard or nair them. You could have reacted to them rolling, right? So this roll was 100% reactable, right? And it's the thing about rolls is they are 100% reactable. So that forward roll, it's got like 30 frames. Where is it? Forward roll. 29 frames, right? So you're going to react to it. You're definitely going to react to that roll. So you should have come up here and immediately look at your opponent. Right now, there's no point to look at your character because your character is committed. You know where your character is going to be, right? So you have control of your character. Just look at your opponent. Look down. Look down, look down. React to this roll. Nair. You could have done it, right? But instead you land in shield, like, oh shit, you land in shield. They jab the wrong way. It happens. They roll jabbed, right? You actually shielded it. So this play worked out, and it wasn't necessarily a quote-unquote wrong play. I just don't think it was the optimal one, and hopefully in your reflection, you'll be able to conjure up a more optimal play. That one's on you. You're the Ness main. You tell me what is the optimal option you could throw out to cover a ledge jump. Sorry, this jump at the corner. Which aerial do you have that's the most consistent, that has the highest odds of killing, the highest odds of connecting, the safest one? What if I whiff, which is the safest aerial on full hop whiff? Everything, right? That one's on you. You need to come up and think about it. Now, granted, you did get this grab. Okay, so in the end, it did kind of work out, but just keep it in mind. I think this ledge trapping could have been done better. You know, back throw, that's not going to kill. It's okay, though. I think you should have forward thrown. If you were going to do this, I think you should have forward thrown in order to not stale the back air, especially since the back air was not going to kill, and you knew this wasn't going to kill. Or you should have at least a simple move like Ness back throw, which you're going to use a lot to kill. Know the cross stage kill percent. Like that's just an Excel spreadsheet, right? When is back throw going to kill? fresh on all the characters in the game. That's an Excel spreadsheet type of thing, right? So either find one that someone's already made or make your own, right? But this is extremely common, right? You're going to get a lot of grabs here, especially a back throw that sends at this angle, right? Your opponent's going to DI it correctly. Know the kill percents, don't steal it. Just forward throw right here, and you're already in perfect position to ledge trap without having to run across the stage. And think about it, this back throw didn't kill, so now you're going to end up in the same situation as you would have ended up on this side of the stage, but now over here, but now you stealed back throw. Like, you should have just forward thrown, I think. But it's okay, it's not terrible. Again, you see what I mean about the Isabelle's just going to throw out fishing rod? So that's what I had mentioned this earlier, that when your Isabelle is landing like this, right, they're probably going to fishing rod, right? They don't want to, like, if I was an Isabelle player, I would imagine I wouldn't risk dealing with yo-yo. I'm going to try to instantly snap to this ledge, and last time you had instantly yo-yo, so I actually don't know why they did this, but you're holding shield for too long, right? You should be able to predict exactly, right, with time. This will come with time. Right? I'm not saying you should be able to do this on the exact first time, but just think about it, right? This is Isabelle player for the 4th time in a row now has up aired at a disadvantage and immediately fast fall. So you know exactly where you should know exactly where they're going to be, right? And the spacing they have to be at, right? So you know they're fast falling. So if they forward air, it's when they're going to be here. You should be able to get a feel for when they're going to be right here at the horizontal level of the stage and throw out that fair. And you should know how long a fair should come out and travel. And that's an intuitive sense with time. That comes with time, right? You should have known, okay, so if you're reacting right now, right, you put up your shield. You should be inputting your shield right now. But see, by the time your shield came out, it was kind of like almost too late. And now you're holding shield for too long. You're definitely going to shield for way too long. That's just a tap of the shield, right? Tap it, let it go. Because either it's going to hit the first 2 frames of your shield, right? So either you shield it, which is fine, or you're going to immediately let go of your shield and you have 5 frames to parry it. So you have like 7 frames, right? Okay, I know parry is 6 frames, right? But assuming you just tapped your shield, and you probably aren't going to tap your shield optimally. If you're using your triggers, you're not going to get that 1 frame perfect shield. I don't even know that's possible. I think there's like a minimum time you have to hold up shield before you can go for the parry. So we're going to call it 2 frames. Okay, you add that to the 6 frames of the parry, right? So you have 8 frames to deal with that projectile, right? So that's actually a pretty lenient window, right, for dealing with that projectile. So go for that parry on the projectile, right? And then immediately input your up smash. So you go for this edge guard, which is 100% the wrong call. Right? You got a huge advantage right now. You could have just ledge trap with your yo-yo. And maybe you didn't know. Maybe you didn't know that Isabelle could just fishing rod back to the stage because she hasn't done it yet. But now you know. Luckily, they're not gonna punish you. I forgot they had pocketed your PK fire. They had a funny punish in mind the whole time, and they finally got it. It's not gonna kill though. Okay, you're gonna whiff this. Yeah, this air dodge back to the stage. This is a tricky air dodge. I actually thought you were gonna re-grab a ledge. So overall, not terrible. But then, okay, I think that up smash is probably not the right idea. What would that up smash have covered? Again, it was kind of a panic situation, and I get that, so you're not always going to throw out the most well thought out option. That's like an on the spot, oh shit, what option am I going to throw out, right? But I think this is twice now where you've been put on really uncomfortable, unorthodox, on the spot situations. Once on that platform, and you did an up smash there as well. You're doing an up smash here too, so I think that's you need to, like, next time you're playing, this is hard. This is a hard habit to fix because these type of situations don't come often, right? If your default option to pick in an uncomfortable, unfamiliar, novel situation, right, is up smash, I don't think that's optimal, right? Obviously, you don't want to pick the same option every time in one of these situations, but you shouldn't be picking such a high commitment, low chance of success option every time either, right? Like, if you are going to pick, okay, never pick the same option in a panic situation. But if you are going to, hold shield, So what's the worst that's gonna happen? Is she gonna run up and grab you, right? So worst that can happen, and you're not at like throw kill percent. Obviously not advocating for picking the same option every time in any situation ever. You should never pick the same option. But if you are going to be in such an unfamiliar situation, maybe holding shield every time is better than up smashing every time. Just the potential punish your opponent can get is going to be a lot less if you panic shield rather than panic up smash. Also has a side effect that people will bully you less, because if you panic up smash, people will call you a masher, and that's just not nice. Nobody wants to be called a masher, right? So don't give them reason to call you a masher. People are mean. Okay, so you're gonna do this forward air, didn't work out, we know this. You've been knowing it's not gonna work out, it's okay. So she gets this, you basically gave her an opportunity to get an optimal, insane punish. Now, luckily, you hold away from the PK fight, and you get out just in time. That's good. Or you reacted to your own move being used against you, and you know how to get out of it as quickly as possible. This is good. Right? Shows you have understanding of your own projectile. And you back air here. Ooh. This didn't work? This is a post when you're reviewing VODs and situations that you're like, why did that work? Up smash is minus 13? Oh, wow, that's actually really... That's really interesting. That her up smash is frame 13, and your back air is minus 10. Sorry, your back air is frame 10. That means your back air shield is a frame 13 option. Wow. Wow, that's actually really interesting. Okay, so yeah, keep in mind, now you know, back air at a shield minus 13, so even if you input this perfectly, it's probably won't. It's not gonna work out. So now you know you can't punish up smash with back air. Don't try it. Isabelle will not suffer hit lag from this projectile. Oh, and look, this move has like no shield stun. It has no shield lag and 4 frames of shield stun. That's crazy. So you literally can't even react to this move. Alright, so now you know. She had more than enough time to shield this then. So, she's gonna shield it. Okay. Just gonna nair you away. And we're actually, hold up, give me 1 second, I'm gonna edit something in post. Alright, and we're back. I just wanted to see if I was actually recording. Anyways, we are, which is good because the VOD was an hour in. So anyways, we're gonna rewind the situation. Where we're last at is she up smashed her shield, you try to back air it, and it didn't work because it is surprisingly safe on shield, that up smash. Okay, so you back aired here, you back air her shield. Do you have a fallback plan? Oops, sometimes it happens, and you're gonna drift away. Okay, not terrible. She's gonna nair you at a shield. Honestly, there's not much you can do here, right? Once you do a rising back air on her shield, like that's kind of it. I'm kind of committed. Now, granted, I do think 35 total frames comes out 10 frame, 25. Yeah, she definitely has enough time for this. 100% has enough time to do this. Yeah. Yeah, there's some characters that by the time you react to that rising aerial hitting, they could do another aerial, kind of like Mario. But we're actually going to look that up. Why do I feel like when Mario hits my shield, I have to keep holding shield, whereas with Ness back here is my shield, I'm like, oh yeah, free punish. So let's see, is it all placebo? Or is there actually something? I am looking at placebo, not Mario. It's definitely, we're going to be learning about the game today. So back air. Mario back air frame 6 and 33 total frames. But yours is frame 10 and 35 total frames. So why do I feel like when Mario back airs my shields once, I have to respect it? If it's to clean hit 12 frames, 8, if even I react to this, are we just letting Mario getting away? Do we just let Mario mains get away with back air out of shield? Wait, what? Okay, so granted, this probably means you can exploit this something similar, and that if you back air someone's shield, maybe get a little bit greedy. Maybe get a bit greedy and try to input another option like magnet See if they respect it. Now, granted, she nares at a shield every single time, so you don't have time to test this. But something to keep in mind for the future against future opponents. Maybe you'll be able to get away with a rising back air into another button. Try throwing out another attack. Test your opponent a bit. Obviously, this Isabelle player has passed this test because they just keep naring every time. Okay, they nared you. You're on this platform again. Nope, you run off. Ooh. They actually did a minor mistake. They got a bit scared here, and they did try to set up. They set up in advantage state, right? Or I guess and they no longer felt like they had enough of an advantage. They're like, I'm not really sure what to do. Even though Ness is on the platform, she could have kept running. And I think the last few exchanges, right, have been in her favor where you actually back air her shield, right? So she probably could have gone for this again. However, decides to plant. Decided to set up, try to get something more done here, and now proceeds to jump. And I think this is actually a misplay on their end, and you did a good job. You go, you know what, you keep jumping. Let me push you away, but... Oh, okay. I was like, why did you magnet instead of... You should have run towards... You should have forward air and held forward. Like, who cares about this projectile? Okay, so I think this is a misplay on your end. Is you need to assess your priorities. You got this hit. You can react and hold forward, right? But instead, you fall back and waste your time on this projectile. This setup, whatever, Lloyd Rocket, I don't care what it's called. Point is, this right here, who cares that it's here? You could have just fallen on this half of the projectile and completely ignored it. But instead, you let it draw your attention, and then you commit to destroying it, which actually lets them come back to the stage 100% for free. So this is the thing to keep in mind in the future, is once they've placed this projectile, right, by you committing to destroying it, you've actually done two things wrong. Because one, you've not only just wasted your time, but keep in mind, now they can't reset this up and place it somewhere else, right? So you've made their bad play. They had just made a bad play by placing this projectile and jumping, but you invalidated this bad play. You actually made it a good play for them because you wasted your time. So that, oh, I could come back for free. So you really keep that in mind for next time. Don't waste your time on this. Recognize your priority, and it's not just you. This actually happens a lot with like when you're dealing with Pac-Man. Like all players will hit Pac-Man, then it'll land and deal with Hydrant. Why? The Hydrant's there. It's gone. You actually don't want to get rid of the Hydrant because as long as Pac-Man doesn't have Hydrant, he can't Hydrant in disadvantage, which a lot of players complain about. So this player, after complaining about the Hydrant and disadvantage, will then land when they have the advantage and deal with Hydrant, which actually makes it even more annoying at disadvantage. So just small things. Is keep in mind your priority. Keep in mind that this thing poses no threat to you. Once you're on this side of it, literally no threat, but you're a threat to them. So anyways, just keep running forward. I'm going to forward air them. They're nowhere near. This is actually a bad forward air, because they're actually nowhere near. And now this is a good forward air, because they literally just jumped into it. Oh, I see. You had actually read... I was like, okay, why? I was looking back because I said it was a bad forward air because they were nowhere near. I'm trying to see, what did you predict? And I think... Wait, I think I skipped over it. Give me 1 second. Forward air. Waste your time with this projectile. We already covered this. Oh, I think you had thought that they were going to run forward right here or something like that. But they didn't. But then you do it. You go for a similar crazy read. That actually works out because they full hopped and just sat here. Now, very few opponents will do this. And I'm actually not going to... This is probably... I think, actually, this was the right idea. Even though most opponents wouldn't do this, they're actually showing you that they're doing really crazy random jumps, right? So swatting them, keep your game plan of swatting them out of the air, that's fine. But now we're back in this ledge trap situation. Okay, this definitely is not the right idea to do against Isabelle. Specifically against Villager and Isabelle, because they could pocket it, right? You should have kept running forward and held your yo-yo here, I think. But you know what? Maybe you're like, oops. You're like, oh yeah. Sometimes we have these moments where in hindsight we're like, oh yeah, I guess that was kind of dumb, huh? Guess they really do have a lot of counter play, especially right here. They're right here. You should have kept running forward and yo-yoed. Okay, but it happens. Now they pocket this, but that's okay, because now they're in pocket lag. What do you do about this? You magnet. Okay, this magnet definitely had a 0% chance of working out, but now you know. Okay, this magnet also has a 0% chance of working out. I'm not sure what you were thinking of here. I think you should just try to yo-yo to ledge trap. Okay, you're gonna back air. Oh, I think his back air was a bit misplaced. Most players like to jump straight up. Like, they like to full hop out of shield here, right? So if you're covering a ledge jump, well, A, it's too late. This back air would have only covered if they had short hopped forward out of shield, right? Or just drop shield and ran forward, which both, I think, are unlikely in this situation. Yeah, I think maybe you were thinking you were a bit further. Okay, but it's not terrible, because now you've reset the situation. It's okay. Do it again, and again. Now they do this full hop. And as you can see, this is literally what I just said, that opponents like to full hop right here, and their back air was not going to cover it. Or unlikely to cover it. I think if you're covering this option, you could just run up nair or run up forward air, or even run up air. That run up air you had done earlier in the game, I think, would have covered this as well. Obviously, the back air also covers it, but you have to space. You have to space that a bit better. Now they do a really greedy. They did a really greedy dare right here. Let me see what they actually got out of it. Why do Isabelle players do this? Let's find out. And it didn't even kill. Okay, knocked you away. You're gonna run forward. Run forward, plant again. I think they're like, okay, I need to set something up for a kill. They do the same jump again, and you had the right idea. You saw that they planted, and last time they planted and jumped. This time they planted and jumped. So your forward air was fine. It didn't work out, but I think you had the right idea. Land with the back air, it's fine. You always land with the back air. They don't really punish it. You jump again. Guess it's fine. You're not at kill. I don't think you're at kill percent, but I think you're just fishing for a kill right now. Okay, you're definitely in the kill mode. After the fourth back air, I'm like, okay, you're actually just fishing for a back air right now. Granted, they probably would have jumped into this. I honestly thought this back air was gonna hit. Ooh, but how close are you to the gyro? And a random up smash. Okay. It kind of feels like it threw out a bunch of kill options, just hoping they would work. Now this is kind of common, and again, that's another. I feel like kind of a random up smash. Yeah, there's not much to say here other than I think we're getting desperate to find a stock. Now this player didn't really capitalize on recognizing that you were just really fishing, and they actually did end up getting hit by this up smash. So. Yeah, just something to keep in mind. It worked out against this player, but be really careful about, like, I understand you're looking for a kill, but the way you should probably think about handling a kill situation isn't, I will now be picking random kill options. Think about what you've done so far to condition your opponent. Think about, oh, you know what? I'm scared. Your opponent is scared of Ness grab. Are they scared of Ness grab? Let's find out. How often are they shielding? If they're never shielding and they're always in the air, okay, then you know they're scared of your kill grab, your kill throw, whatever. So maybe do some forward airs. Like if you just forward air here, forward air is really likely to hit. Any of these backers have been forward airs, they probably would have been 10 times more likely to hit. And sure, maybe they don't kill, but they set you up in a position where you get an easy kill off stage, right? I think trying to force out the stock to be closed by throwing out these back airs was definitely not the right move. It kind of shows to me that you're not really thinking about your opponent's your opponent thus far, especially this up smash. I think, especially when you have so many kill aerials, you have a kill throw, you have your nair, your up air would have killed, your back air would have killed, nair would have killed, fair would have set up for a ledge trap. They're at a percent where almost anything where forward tilt, you even have kill tilts at this percent, right? Your up tilt would have killed, your forward tilt might have killed. When you have so many kill options, why would you commit to a smash attack as a kill option, right? It'd be one thing if your up smash could kill when none of your options could, right? When none of your other options would have killed, okay, sure, throw out that up smash. Hey, if it hits a Lamau, get an easy stock. But that's not an early stock anymore. They're at 170. So you just keep, as their stocks rise, think about the safer kill options you have, right? Because if you commit to a really laggy and committal one, the tables could turn, and now you're dealing with a max range Isabelle. You don't know what that's capable of. I don't either. Anyways, they're gonna respawn. Okay, so this PK Fire that you did right here was explicitly a wrong option because your opponent is respawning and they're invincible. So even if that PK Fire would have hit, it would have gotten you 0 reward, right? So just take a moment to think about, have a game plan ready for when your opponent respawns with invincibility, right? Get ready. There's a lot of ways to go about this. You have a lot of options, right? Personally, I would recommend trying to jump over your opponent and just like run away from them. But you have more options than that too. If you want, you could just literally just hold shield, right? And your opponent, all they can get is a grab or something like that. That's one option you can do, is just give up and like, you know what? Have the grab. You could put yourself in the corner. You could put yourself on the ledge. You could try to jump over your opponent. That's one of the greediest options you could do. But it's pretty hard to punish. Your opponent has to read it pretty hard. You can also, I wouldn't recommend this, but you could try like holding shield and then spot dodging to bait a grab, and then haha, they spot dodge. Don't try to punish that spot dodge with an attack because they're still invincible, but now you can get away for free. You can also, definitely don't do this against better players the first time. Don't roll past your opponent when they're invincible, because a lot of players read that. That's a really common first option to go for, is I always read my opponent rolling past me. I don't know why, it's a Wi-Fi thing. Anyways, however, throwing a projectile when your opponent's invincible is explicitly the wrong option to be picking. Okay, so you got hit for it. Okay. And they're actually not gonna keep up their advantage state here. Again, they seem to like hit you and then set up. So now they're playing disadvantage state pretty wrong. Granted, you actually rolled into this gyroid. This Lloyd rocket. I don't know why I call them I call them gyroids. So that's definitely, wait. Is that still called Lloyd rocket? Hold up. Before Isabelle mains get bad at me. We are gonna find out what this is called. It is Lloyd trap. Yo, my bad. Lloyd trap. Okay, so your opponent planted Lloyd trap, and so this is... Okay, let me see. You kill them. They're gonna respawn. You waste your time. So here's another thing. If you are invincible, don't waste your invincibility setting up, right? If you're a character that has the option to set up, don't waste your invincibility setting up, because they hit you. They're in the ultimate advantage state, because if you're hit someone and you're invincible, that means you could run up to them and you don't have to shield, because you're literally invincible. You have all options available to you. Instead, they choose to set up, and you choose to roll into this, which I think this is pretty bad. Obviously, in hindsight, it's obviously really bad. But your game plan probably should not be to cross-up roll an invincible opponent, because they should still be invincible right now. You should try not to roll past them unless it's a mix-up and you're intentionally rolling. You also should... So yeah, anyways, kind of roll into this. You don't really get punished for it. Okay, you got punished for the follow-up. You dropped shield after the jab, and she forward tilted you. It happens. Damn, you really just got away with that, huh? Okay. Okay, good. I think you had the right idea here, is reacting to their whiff attack, and you're like, oh, I have enough time to punish this. I think this is fine. You think this is really close to working. But forward tilt has 36 total frames. Yeah, I think this was the right idea. I would have gone for this punish too, because I think this would have been the optimal reversal. Obviously, it didn't work out, and it's important to analyze why it didn't work out. But I think that for being the first time you're in this situation, right, I think you made the right idea. And now you get away and you land right into the rocket. Bro, you fall out, Isabelle sucks. As a character. You 100% should have died right here. It looks like you kind of lost sight. So you did this back air to try to hit them. You kind of lost sight of the rocket, or the trap, sorry. You kind of like tunnel vision on, okay, you had whiffed this. I get it. I would have lost sight of this too. I would have lost sight of this. You got hit, you should have died. This game sucks. That's tough. Let me backtrack it a bit. Okay, but now you escape. Now Isabelle's running at you. Isabelle's on the platform. You should recognize, wait a minute. Hold up, am I... Whoa, I'm now in a favorable spot? Ooh, okay. Minor note, don't directional air dodge like this. If you're in a panic situation, at least neutral air dodge. I think you gotta be really careful with your directional air dodges because it's extremely reactable. Right now, they were unsure of what was gonna. They were like, "What's going on?" So they pre-committed an option. Granted, it worked out. I think in the future you gotta be careful. Just a thing to keep in mind. If you notice that you always directional air dodge when you get hit, don't. If you're in a panic situation, try not to directional air dodge to the sides. Right. Anyways. All right. So she hits you again. Plants. This. Isabelle definitely should be running up and hitting you. Now you're going to PK fire at max distance. However, you should have reacted to them planting. I don't think this PK fire was a good idea. Okay, I see why you're PK firing, because they're at 0%. It hits, but keep in mind, these PK fires are reactable and Isabelle has pocket. I don't think it's the right idea to be throwing out these PK fires. Okay, you're forward air. Okay, that time they didn't approach. Is Isabelle slowly starting to change their game plan, realizing, wait, every time I run forward in the air, I'm getting swatted out. So they're slowly changing their game plan, like, okay, I should keep my space from the Ness in the air. Ooh, how did you land this? Let me see. I think this should have been a shield from them. Okay, I think the dash attack was fine. Again, this right here, I just realized again, I had already mentioned that you should become, with time, you'll become more familiar of when an opponent will escape PK fire versus when they'll be stuck in it. Comes with time, but it's obviously now this Isabelle's on the platform. Okay, you thought they were going to run forward here, maybe? This forward is a bit of a reach, because the odds of Isabelle having run forward into this are pretty low. I think it's really common for an opponent to fall straight down here, or run off, right? So keep in mind, I think this exact situation, as you come across it more, you'll start favoring running a bit forward rather than pre-committing to them, like jumping off aggressively like this. I don't think this forwarder had good odds of hitting. Okay, but you back off, and it's not the worst thing in the world. You're gonna jump up and forward again. I'm only gonna say this was a good forwarder because again, before she had proven that they keep jumping forward into you. This time they didn't though. Okay. Oh, they actually had mentally committed to throwing out this forwarder. Oh wait, they did shield it. Oh, they drop shield. Oh, that's tough. It's like, yeah, they definitely should have been able to shield this. And this Nair should have... Oh, yeah, the Nair is frame 10 out of shield, huh? Is that why it doesn't work? Oh, no, it's frame 8. Yeah, okay. That Nair should have hit you and it didn't happen. Also, look how big this pocket is. Maybe you didn't realize how massive the pocket was. That's enormous, by the way. So they can stand 10,000 miles away from you in PK fire and pocket on reaction. Look at this. Do you see this? Don't PK fire this. Okay, it's not gonna work out. Now you have a free punish, good up air. Ooh, they fell out. Tough. They mashed. That happens. Sometimes in Ultimate this happens. But I think he had the right idea. Oh, now they go for this mix. Alright, I don't blame you for this one. They hadn't done this fishing rod all game, so you weren't sure where they're gonna be. But now you should be aware of how fishing rod can be used as a tool. So anyways, I believe this should be an hour and a half of VOD review, and I have now covered. I know it's only been a minute and 43 seconds, but this VOD review is already more than an hour and a half long, probably, after editing. So we're gonna leave it here for now. Obviously, as a game drags on, right, there will be more and more of the same things I'm saying, right? But hopefully now you should at least have a good baseline for what to think about. Review this rest of it VOD on your own. See if you learn anything. And again, I think the more and more I see this, the more and more I'll be repeating myself, and I don't think that'll be an optimal use of your time. Uh, However, you will learn. If you should still watch the rest of this VOD because a lot of matchup specific things can be learned, especially if you're learning a matchup specifically. Like if this is a problem matchup for you, Isabelle Ness, you have to watch the entirety of all VODs you can find because randomly sprinkled out will be interactions. You're like, oh, that's a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. Right? So there's a lot of random trinkets of knowledge you can learn from watching VODs in their entirety, especially when you're learning a matchup. However, I think this should be more than enough for now. So anyways, thank you for watching. I'll have more VOD reviews coming up shortly. You already know the drill. If you like this, leave a like, and please share it with your friends. Tell your friends to send me VODs of their own. I try to review VODs of all skill levels. Any skill level is welcome. And again, I'll have a new VOD out next Monday. See ya.